You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
Amy Klobuchar. Of course, this tweet, first of all, there was a tweet that went out from a reporter at CBS stating that that Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota is being closely vetted to be the VP choice for Vice President Joe Biden. Now remember, Biden announced that he was going to pick a woman to be his VP. There have been a number of African Americans, especially black women, who've been saying, pick a sister. When that report went out, CBS News reported that this is what Zelina Maxwell tweeted. Go to my iPad. Joe Biden needs to pick a black woman as VP. That's it. That's the tweet. Here's this tweet from Barry Williams, exec from Silicon Valley. This gets a resounding hell no from me. No, ma'am, do not want, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Then, of course, Angela Rye was even more clear. Tell your sources this is a miserable, terrible, no good royal fuck up. Then Ellie Mastal tweeted this here. This reminds me of when brothers date black women when they broke red shirt riding the bench, but find a white woman to marry as soon as they sign that pro contract. Everybody disrespects women of color when they want something and only learn their error when they need something. Now, let's be clear. Vice President Joe Biden has not announced that Klobuchar is his pick, but the fact, Reese, that he's even considering a Senator Amy Klobuchar, who wasn't even polling barely at 0.5% among black people. Second, well, first of all, you could just take it from there.
Listen, this is not a surprise. Of course, he is vetting Senator Amy Klobuchar. He is vetting probably a dozen people. I think that Vice President Joe Biden is going to dangle any woman out there to try to get some headlines, whether it's a white woman, a black woman, a Latino woman, an Asian woman. He is, basically, I hate to put it in this way, but clout chasing after all of these women. He probably knows maybe the top three people, but why not interview Jean Shaheen, which I saw a report about today in New Hampshire, or Maggie Hassan, who are the New Hampshire senators who are white women who nobody knows outside of New Hampshire pretty much. Why not? I mean, he seems to be having fun with this. I think it's a complete joke. I think it's a shit show. And as you pointed out, Roland, she has zero black support. She made no effort to have black support. I remember you on this show during the campaign season saying, Amy, when are you going to come on the show? And then the day that she comes on is the same day that Senator Kamala Harris does, and they're calling her Black outreach of voter rights, which is something that many people are focused on, not just her. So, yeah, Amy, that's fine. Go on ahead and vet her. I'm not terribly concerned about it because I think at the end of the day, what we're going to have is we're going to have a white is right VP choice, which is Amy Klobuchar, or we're going to have a recognition that are Amy Klobuchar or Elizabeth Warren, or we're going to have a recognition that black women are the base of the party. Black women are also capable of governing, of being qualified. Be clear, it's not just a token identity pick, but we're either going to recognize that the black people are the power of the Democratic Party. Those are the two choices. Okay, and I saw a poll out today that shows that Joe Biden's black support slipped by 3 points. He's down to 81% black support in the latest NBC News poll. Now, Donald Trump only has 3% support himself. His support has dropped by 4%. But you're going to have black people stay home. And you can curse them and you can say Donald Trump is the most important thing. It's not going to matter if you do not energize black voters. And Amy Klobuchar is a non-starter with black voters that Joe Biden doesn't already have.
Erica, the thing is this here. All this talk around Senator Amy Klobuchar is that she could be the key to unlocking and winning these white voters in the Midwest. But I thought that was the reason why Biden was the choice. I thought Joe from Scranton was the one who could appeal to the white voters in Pennsylvania. Because they say once you get outside of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, the rest of Pennsylvania is Alabama. I thought he was the guy who could appeal to the white voters in Michigan. Once you get outside of Detroit and Flint and Lansing, Michigan, the rest of it is Alabama. And then, of course, let's talk about Wisconsin. Same thing in Minnesota. Once you get outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul and large cities, the rest of Minnesota is Alabama. So I thought if that was why Joe was there, why you need backup from a white woman like Klobuchar?
He does not, and I get my political excitement around talking about VPs and listening to VPs from a woman who has been very staunch in her support of the Black woman running for president, Senator Kamala Harris, and that is our very own Reese Colbert. And so, listen, to be quite frank, I think that the point that Reese brought up is something that should be very much so of concern, because our support is not forever. Amy Klobuchar definitely has embarrassed herself. She's not come into account for some of her decisions when she was prosecutor, definitely not in the same way that Senator Kamala Harris has. And to be quite honest, I think what is also happening now is that he really needs to, and excuse for me saying this, he needs to cut the shit show. There was a big announcement about him bringing in Karine Jean-Pierre as a senior advisor now. As we continue to cover stories like you do on Roland Martin Unfiltered, talking about Ahmaud Arbery and just this newest case out in Des Moines, Iowa, and just everything that Black folks are having to shoulder, not just in a pandemic, but with regular life, there needs to be, and it needs to happen very rapidly, like before the month of June or during the month of June, for him to go ahead and announce who that VP is. And I'm throwing a term away, women of color, because it needs to be a damn Black woman. Black women are the most disrespected. It's not women of color. It's Black women. We have been here. Cicely Tyson talks about that fourth rung, how Black women, when we go into a space, we lift everyone up because we're looking through everyone's lens. And so when you see people coming out talking about, well, a Black woman needs to be vice president, the one person that I know that has always actively advocated for a Black woman to be in the White House in this modern time has been Black Women Views. And so cut it. Go ahead and make the announcement. If we're going to roll out a top three, those top three, to me, all three of them should be Black women. And let's get it moving, because there's a lot of work to be done, particularly around voter protections and making sure that the base of the party does turn out, and leaving them white folks alone. They left in the 60s. They're not coming back. That's over. It is done with. It needs to be a Black woman that's going to be the VP on this Biden ticket.
So I'll put this out to you, and I've heard this from some Black female activists who say if he picks Senator Elizabeth Warren, they would welcome that pick. She's progressive. There are Democrats who say that she would unite the progressive wing with this moderate center right, if you will, that Biden appeals to. Your thoughts about Senator Elizabeth Warren as a potential VP pick?
Yeah, that's not a Black woman. And Senator Elizabeth Warren, I tip my hat to her. She won the blue check battle of intelligentsias. She had the Black intelligentsia. She had the Black verified Twitter on her account. And guess what? In South Carolina, she got 8% of the Black vote. In Virginia, she got 8% of the Black vote. So she can parachute every Black person in there to co-sign her, but she did not connect with Black people during the primary. It's not just a joke thing. If you look at her audiences, they were very monolithically white, even in places like South Carolina. So no, Elizabeth Warren is not a Black VP, just like Bill Clinton is not a Black president, just like Donald Trump is not a Black president, as some of his Black supporters would say. Absolutely not. Elizabeth Warren is not sufficient. She did not perform all that well in the primaries herself. She never placed above third place. She had a $140 million campaign. She lost every single race, including her home state. So this whole notion that she's some sort of big unifier is really strange, and it doesn't really bear out based on her performance in the primaries. Amy Klobuchar barely placed above fourth or fifth in the few contests that she made it through. And so, yes, even though Senator Kamala Harris dropped out before the voting starts, there is absolutely no more persuasive case to be made for Elizabeth Warren or Amy Klobuchar's electability, given how poorly they fared throughout the campaign, with far more money, far more exposure, and far more opportunities to prove themselves. So again, that's an absolutely hell no on Elizabeth Warren.
Erica.
Absolutely. Everything that Reese said. And whatever the Ivy League, I guess, notion gives people in ways of connecting with her, good for them. I'm with Reese. She is not a damn Black woman. And that is the bottom line. The Veep ticket has to be a Black woman. And mind you, and this is just the facts, Senator Klobuchar is, Senator Warren is in her 70s. So I think that she serves far better in the wells of the Senate than running alongside someone who is advanced in age himself. He needs the same group of women that gave him a Christ-like resurrection when he was in South Carolina to his campaign.
What do you say to people, the people who have been commenting on the chat, who say Senator Harris didn't resonate among Black people?
Well, number one, she absolutely did resonate around Black people. As a matter of fact, there were articles about how the fact that she was tapping into a Black donor class that hadn't even been tapped into before. Her events were very much diverse. There were tons of Black people at her events. I, in fact, attended her Black Women Weekend of Action in South Carolina. The fact of the matter is, you cannot compare apples and oranges. You cannot compare the performance of a person, Senator Kamala Harris, who got in some weeks 137 mentions in the media, compared to Elizabeth Warren, who got over 1,000, and Joe Biden, who got 1,800. She had 3% of the media mentions in her campaign. She ran a campaign that raised a total of $35 million, which, by the way, is the most that a Black woman has ever raised running for president. However, you compare that to $140 million, of course she's not going to compete as well. But the fact of the matter is, Kamala Harris was able to generate enthusiasm in her supporters. She was able to constantly bring out Black people, which is what we're talking about here. In Michigan, she won the endorsement of the entire Michigan Black caucus. And so this whole notion that Senator Kamala Harris doesn't appeal to Black people just because there were smears about her record that were propagated by the progressive wing of the party, because she didn't get to South Carolina because we had the most white states voting first, which she was not polling well in, is ridiculous. It's trying to pass off the structural disadvantages of this presidential campaign as some sort of deficiency on her part. The bottom line is Senator Kamala Harris has won the most votes out of all of these women, period, time and time again. She's won competitive primaries, unlike Senator Elizabeth Warren, who wasn't in a competitive primary. Klobuchar was not in a competitive primary for their Senate seats. So she's won. The proof is in the pudding. And at the end of the day, the bottom line is Senator Kamala Harris can go into Black spaces. She can go on Revolt TV, the podcast with Joe Biden and Rick Moss. She can go on to Essence Magazine, to the Essence Festival. She can go into all these Black places credibly and competently talk about our issues as Black people. And more importantly, she's actually working on these things. I don't see Elizabeth Warren pushing the racial disparities and ethnic task force. I don't see her pushing all these initiatives about racial profiling and trying to push William Barr on all these things. Senator Kamala Harris is taking the lead. She didn't drop Black people like a bad habit. Once she dropped out, she is still fighting for her issues, and that's what we need, a seat at the table, period.
You say you don't see Senator Elizabeth Warren pushing which racial diversity task force?
Well, Senator Kamala Harris has the bill, Racial and Ethnic Disparities Task Force, to make sure that FEMA is putting the right resources towards diagnosing the things like we're going to talk about in the show later, why Black people are dying at disproportionate rates, making sure that Black people are not left out of the response.
Warren did.
So that's
Actually, Warren has been involved in that. She's been doing it with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, and even we talked about it yesterday when she criticized the Trump administration's putrid report, specifically dealing with the racial data affecting coronavirus. So she has been speaking on that particular issue.
Speaking on it, yes. Signing on to a letter, yes. Pushing legislation, no. Really championing it, no. Yes, she does check the box. I will give Elizabeth Warren credit for checking the box. She has her bullet points and she has her PDFs. But in terms of actually championing issues, that's not what she does. During the campaign, she was all about Black maternal mortality. But when it came to the Black Momnibus bill, You didn't see her on that stage with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley or with Senator Kamala Harris. Senator Kamala Harris was the only senator who represented in that type of task force. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's not a matter of just simply checking a box and sending out a tweet or signing on to a letter. It's about who's truly championing these issues and going into spaces and talking about this competently over and over and over again. And Senator Warren does not meet that level that Senator Kamala Harris does.
So the only thing, again, the pushback here, and this is actually a transcript right here. Warren remarks on press call about her bill to require release of COVID demographic data, including race and ethnicity. That's dated April 17th. So what bill are you talking about? She has a bill that specifically does that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about there is a racial and ethnic disparities task force bill that Senator Kamala Harris has put out, which does far more than just release demographic data. Like I said, I'm not saying that Elizabeth Warren doesn't do anything. What I'm saying is that she is not championing this to the same degree and to the same zeal that we see that Senator Kamala Harris is. Yes, does she sign on to things? Yes, does she put out things? Yes, she does. But it's not anywhere near to the degree of what Senator Kamala Harris does. When they talked about Vice President Joe Biden had a town hall on the racial disparities, on the way that COVID impacts Black people, it was not Senator Warren that he called up. It was Senator Kamala Harris that he called up. And she conducted Joe Biden's town hall. And she's been talking about these issues for months on multiple areas, whether it's on MSNBC or whether it's directly to Black people. And that's what I'm saying. It's not just a matter of putting out a letter or signing on to something. It's a matter of who can truly champion these issues.
Erica, final comment.
And just wanted to add that when we think about the firing of this latest Inspector General, Steve Lennick, who served as the Fraud, Waste, and Abuse Inspector General of the State Department, Senator Kamala Harris fired off a letter in August of 2019 saying that the same person that's leading the State Department, Mike Pompeo, that he be held into account, him and other officials. So when you think about those things that maybe aren't necessarily sexy, but understanding how these important positions are necessary within our democracy, you see Black women. And so, again, a Biden campaign was revived by Black women. A Black woman, not a woman of color, needs to be his vice president.
All right, folks.
Back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
This is the Ceek VR headset created by Mary Spiel, the sister. We had her on the show. Black woman. She actually is the inventor of this particular headset. And so what happens is you just simply place your phone right into here, and then of course close it up, and then go to their website and then their app, and you can actually experience the comedy showcase. And so they have these headsets, these VR headsets on their site, Ceek.com, for sale. Then also they have these 4D 360-degree headphones. First of all, I love the two stuff because they're in black and old gold, my frat colors. But these are awesome because for gamers, it comes with a detachable headset, and again, folks, it gives you 360-degree sound. Amazing sound. If you want to buy these, you have a promo code you can use. This is just for our followers, and it is RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Put that promo code in if you want to buy the headphones, buy the VR headset. You get that discount to buy it. They're amazing. So Ceek.com, RMVIP2020.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.